right, Abusia Micha na misanso emo akwaba sonko so efa my channel so ha. That's why bear media GH. Abusia for a idea Ken Ofowi at a former finance minister. Yes. The $2 million a year dollars apartment be Abusia hon sema ba betoja. We dey ma make asa wan pese yoko. Koko tie nsema aba bonten. Ah efa a Ken Ofowi at a hona si wi Abusia bomodin. Na ya kire ya had that's why bear media GH. Be so subscribe like na Abusia. Wabo aso ahema for pension be tie no. Anya bi ati.
Kasa asema ba. Asem de abapa geno forata na reho sem part 1 part 2 part 3 part 4 ebusuye breaking it down the amount I daily update if you have hit the subscribe button no sabeka video now saka notification bell ebusuya investigative journalist a friend Manase Azure chere how Akino Forata arrested. Now first and foremost no Attorney General Dinkomobi yabeba. But yenko tie asema all can say Keno Forata ye chin a Washington DC, a 20 minutes walk to the White House ebusuyan komodini. Na efia Keno Forata team on any matima wato our team ewo US abonte Washington DC a year 11112 Street a green light ewo Washington DC ebusuyan story ni. And he said Safi no Kamala Harris, the vice president of US, the former vice president Kamala Harris dia. In quote, Manase Azure. And it is na otu ye no ano kasa na obeton fie no ti obusuan Kamala Harris si obeton fie no anasa oton fie no nti omo upload fie no to site a imse omo ton fie no if you wet a luxurious resident out imse a hono a very residential area, luxurious area, a 20 minutes walk to the White House, according to Manase Azure. Now, and common said, Keno Forata na ato se fie Mame fa allegedly show. Keno Forata na ato se fie $2 million. I stand to be quoted. Ye could see some no nebusu and in say, se fie no, Forata dia. Ani madden iritim. Ye could see Manase Azure, but first and foremost, you could see.
Teaching and studying, we didn't know that you were still doing I catch you. Where did you catch Keno Forata? What is he doing? Where you found him?
Well, I caught him. I only have details of what he does, and that's what I've been sharing. And exact location where he was arrested, according to sources who witnessed the arrest, is in Washington, D.C., 124th Street in Washington, D.C. And there is an apartment, a luxury apartment complex building called the Westlight Building. This building is in a very expensive neighborhood of Washington, D.C., and it is a 20-minute walk from the White House. This is where sources say Ken Oforiatta and some members of his family, I have heard specifically his wife and son, have been living in this building. This is the building where Kamala Harris was living prior to her election and swearing in as the Vice President of the United States. And Kamala Harris had a 2-bedroom condo in this Westlight building. And when she moved in April 2025, this building was listed on the market and sold for almost $2 million. This is just a 2-bedroom apartment in this building where Keno Forata lives. And it was sold for almost $2 million, to be specific, $1.85 million. So this shows that it's a apartment in this luxurious neighborhood. And the information is that on Tuesday morning at about 11 a.m., Keno Forata was moving out of this building. And as soon as he stepped outside of this building, the agents of ICE surrounded him, got him into a car, and drove him away to this detention center, the Caroline Detention Center in Virginia, which is about 89 miles from the exact location where he was arrested. And they say that this was like a targeted operation. Sometimes ICE officials or agents raid places and arrest, do or conduct mass arrest. But everything I'm hearing from sources that were present when Ken was picked up shows that it was a targeted operation. They appear to have come to lay ambush, and as soon as he emerged, they surrounded him, got him into the vehicle, and then drove him away about an hour and a half drive to where he's currently being detained.
You heard what the Attorney General had to say about this arrest and detention?
Is it the reason given?
Yes.
About the revocation of the visa?
Yes. And the fact that
Yes,
the Attorney General had been investigating him on a completely different issue, not the story that you did, that you and your colleagues did, that the OSP has been investigating and leading to the extradition request. But a lot has been going on the part of the Attorney General in respect of Ken Ofori-Atta, and this arrest and detention, he says, should not be associated with immigration.
Well, I think it is true that he may have been arrested by the authorities for forget it. But what we are hearing now, it has more to do with the immigration. The Attorney General, if I heard him said, his visa was revoked and he was given up to about 29th of November to leave the United States. And if he's still there, it is an immigration matter that ICE has moved in to arrest him. Maybe what he may want to imply is that there are more reasons for his arrest than the extradition request, which was based on this current case that is in court. But if you violate your visa status, it is an immigration matter. ICE is working on immigration. So I believe this is purely on immigration from the information that is out. It is possible that
Your Attorney General is telling you what he has been doing, and you say you believe this is purely on immigration?
No, I'm not saying what he's been doing is not, that he's not been doing any work. He's been investigating him on other matters which are likely to come out. But as we speak, if the Ghana officials of the Ghana Immigration Service moves in to arrest somebody and detains someone for overstaying in Ghana, until somebody gives me any other evidence, I cannot say it is not an immigration matter. I believe this is an immigration matter. That is why ICE and perhaps not the police or FBI and others moved in. So as it is, everything points to the fact that this is an immigration matter. The trigger may have been for the revocation of his license may have been based on something else. Maybe the Attorney General may say, well, this person has done ABC, and American authorities.
Na abusia fast forward say what this sound komo ya kire no. What this sound komo ya kire. Attorney General so wadi nkomo bi. Yes, Attorney General eye ayini sema eye the lawyer of Ken Ofori-Atta friend Eniyat. Good. Ene as edin ba akona brofo di no di ehu. Abusia enti Eniyat ne wo mo e ka ho no. A friend say, "Oh, ora Ken Ofori-Atta beba." That's assurance of say coming. Na oma frɛ no ɛyɛ tete phone so ana oma frɛ no sɛ ɔbɛba na ɔbɛba ne nkɔmɔ bɛn ɛna ɔmo ne Attorney General di ne nkonekote ne nyinaa yɛmfa credit ma Joy News ɔmo aka kyɛ ne nsɛm wɔ nyina P state.
The visa was revoked. I am telling you this on authority. All right, the last meeting that I had with the American authorities was just 3 days ago.
His lawyers say here in Ghana say this is just a standard process.
No, it's not. It's not a. I mean, they want to give it that a twist, to make it look like there is nothing wrong. But of course, the extradition request that I sent was in respect of the OSP.
Yes, the SML matter.
Yes, but I have been working with the Americans diligently on him, and the visa was revoked, and that is how come that he lost his immigration status in the United States.
Explain to me, visa is revoked on account of you investigating him?
Something I wouldn't want to give any details, because we speak with in confidence with the Americans, but this is something that I can publicly confirm, that a visa was revoked.
So, in respect of his extradition, are your lawyers in America to assist the state as the Department of Justice? As we understand, there's supposed to be some 2 lawyers from your place, 2 lawyers from the OSP or so, to go and help the Americans who prosecute the case in American courts.
Normally, we don't send our lawyers. We are represented because we make the request to the American authorities. So just like here, when they make a request, my office, mostly led by, my deputy, Justice Srimsai, goes to court. My lawyers go to court, and they represent the interests of the United States of America.
That's right.
And they do all the arguments, and then when, they persuade the judge grants the extradition request, and then, we extradite the person. It is going to be the same. So you see, when I said that Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta had hired top lawyers in America to argue his case for him, and that is not going to be an easy battle trying to bring him home. People thought that I was going to the United States to face his lawyers there, and I was afraid. I'm not afraid. Paul Adomochiri did a show here where he said a Stanford lawyer, and you are afraid of lawyers in America. I'm not afraid of them.
He's not the only one who was unhappy.
No, but nobody ought to be unhappy, because John Ashcroft, the former attorney, general of the United States of America, all right, called me and said he was the one representing, Ken Ofori-Atta in the matter. But his concerns, that the reason he called me was for me to assure him that when Ken is returned to Ghana, all right, he will get a fair trial. And I assured him of the fact that under this government, and in accordance with Article 19 of the Constitution, his right to a fair trial is guaranteed. No one is going to, Ken Ofori-Atta is not he's not the person that will come here and we're going to treat him very shabbily and so on and so forth. He will be accorded due process of law. His fair trial rights will be guaranteed and so on. So I talked with John Ashcroft, but at the time, I could not, including the lawyer, the lawyer who granted the interview.
That's right.
So there were 3 of them, 3 lawyers who spoke to me via, a Zoom on that day when they were expressing concerns. Okay. So at that point in time, it was confidential. I could not mention John Ashcroft as his lawyer. All right. But I was simply saying that when you take the fact that he has these top lawyers coming to court in America, a day's work to bring him home.
That's
because, he will appear before, in this current matter, he will appear before an immigration judge.
Thank you for having me, Samson.
In America, we thought you were...
may have moved into get some prima facie evidence of Ken having committed some crimes, for which reason they may think they should. But once the visa is revoked, triggered by something else, then this arrest and detention, all the facts currently point to the fact that it has to do with immigration.
Okay, Manasseh, thank you very much for making time this very early where you are to join us. But you are curious that Ken Ofori-Atta is living in a very plush, luxurious area, right? He's a former finance minister. He's a former finance minister. He's a man who had made a lot of money, who had companies, who was running a bank, an investment bank, and so on. So it shouldn't be beyond his means to rent an apartment, however expensive, in that neighborhood in the U.S.
I very much agree with you, and that is why some of us are livid. For what shall it profit a man to make all of this, and then you are now living in detention? If you've made all that money, you have all that comfort, he should have been minded to think about those who are in this country, people who are dying from hospitals because of the lack of basic equipment. My own father fell ill in 2023, and we needed an MRI scan in the Upper East region. We didn't get it. The whole of northern Ghana, there wasn't a single MRI machine. So we had to airlift him to Accra.
How is that the fault of Ken Ofori-Atta, finance minister?
The finance minister is responsible for distributing our wealth. So the money that should have gone into providing this healthcare equipment, billions were given to deals such as SML.
Are you saying that the health ministry or those in charge of the health sector brought this to his attention, that they needed this MRI machine in Tamale or in Bolga or somewhere, and he didn't give it? Are we not being unfair to him?
Samson, I can understand your devils. A lot of children are studying under trees. Children are lying on their stomachs to learn. The reason hospitals don't have equipment, the reason we cannot dualize our roads, for which reason they have become death traps, is that we don't have enough money to provide these services. But if we have someone who is presiding over our resources, allocating these billions to some dubious deals, then we cannot say that he and those who manage the economy are not liable for, or they cannot be questioned.
Okay.
So that if he has to get healthcare, when COVID-19 happened, many people died because there were no beds. I interviewed a Ghana Health Service Director General in my documentary, and he said in the Ashanti region at the heat of the COVID, they had about 40 beds. And he said some people died because they could not get care. In that period, Ken Ofori-Atta was able to fly to the US, get health care, proper treatment, was able to recover and come back. He didn't die like those who died in Ghana for lack of beds.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Manasseh. Thank you.
Continue.
Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much. And let's remember once again, let me get Suleimana briefly. What's your comment about Ken Ofori-Atta's predicament? And again, dubious contracts, all of that. We clearly will have to wait for a court to pronounce that he did anything wrong. Yes, Suleimana.
Absolutely. Yes, Samson.
Right.
I think that the situation that Ken finds himself is certainly a very sad situation. As you rightly said a while ago, this is somebody that we know even before.
A sad situation. Some Ghanaians are celebrating it. You say it's a sad situation?
Well, it's a sad situation for him as a person, given his background. And I was saying that we knew Ken Ofori-Atta before the NPP, before Akufo-Addo came to power.
Right.
We knew about data bank. There are a lot of people who will tell you perhaps the first place they learned about investing money was through data bank, all the products that they had.
That's right.
And this was the person behind data bank. And so to now find himself in the situation that he's in now is a very, very sad development, I should say. But not only sad, but I think it's also very embarrassing. Embarrassing that a former finance minister who held the portfolio for almost 7 years ends up and then under the, whether to say excuse or the pretext of treatment, now has had to live in someone's country, even under circumstances that he is not permitted to be in there.
Oh, why do you say pretext of treatment? You don't believe the medical reports we have all become familiar with, even if it was earlier, that he was really unwell?
Well, I cannot say that I don't, or I didn't believe the narrative that was put out there, but I don't want to believe that he's remained in the US because his conditions wouldn't allow for him to be in Ghana.
That's what his lawyers say.
And well, but with the disclosure of the Attorney General this morning, unless the Attorney General's disclosure has to also be subjected